Well, it's time to play a fun game with Cody, and I'll just keep my glasses on because I need them. Okay, so we thought it would be fun to ask you, have you ever done it? And what I mean by have you ever done it, where have you done it? Sex. And your job is to tell me, yes, you have done it, and then give us if a specific reason, or if you haven't done it, why haven't you done it, or would you want to do it there? And then I'll say the same sentence. Cody, have you ever had sex in a car?
Yes, I have.
That's an easy one, right? Yeah.
I know, right? When I was younger, of course, I haven't had sex in a car for a very, very long time. I actually might want to go back to that, actually. But
you rented like a car, one of those. What car did you rent to go to the beach recently?
I got a zip car to go to. It was like a Honda CRV or something like that. And maybe I can rent a zip car and have sex in the zip car.
There you go. Clean up after yourself, though, please.
Huh?
Clean up after yourself, though, please.
Yes, always. And I'll wear my mask, too. But yeah, when I was younger, I had lots of sex in cars. Because, like, when you're 20, you don't have a place to have a private place to have sex.
No, true.
So you have a car. And that's where I did a lot of sex.
And for whatever reason, I had sex like a few years back, not that long ago. And I was in Palm Springs. It was either Leather Pride or Gay Pride, and I ran into somebody that used to be an F buddy. We're on Facebook Live, so I don't think I can really say the F buddy. If wink wink. And I hadn't seen him in a long time, and we had really good sex back when I lived in LA, and so. We were reunited at a bar, and the only he was, I think, leaving that night, going back to LA, and I was with friends. We made out and did all this fun stuff in the bar that we were at, but then I walked him to his car, and we ended up having sex in his car. The clincher thing about this story was he's like 6'3" and like this big guy. So
no.
Having sex in a car is really awkward. It wasn't meant for that. I mean, it wasn't like this big limo thing like you watch on porn where, the seat's out and they always make it look like so cool. No, it was like a regular sedan of a car, and here's this giant and me trying to. I mean, we had fun. We made it work. Don't get me wrong. Well, I wasn't going to miss out on that opportunity, but it was.
Sex is good sex.
Yeah, right.
If you had to choose the location.
Exactly. And the other thing is that it was Palm Springs. There wasn't like a beach to go to have sex on. It was like the desert, which brings me to my next. Question for you, Cody. Have you ever had sex on the beach? Or just had a sex on the beach cocktail?
Just only in cocktails. I don't know. The sand just seems really uncomfortable. You know what? And I am not against trying new things. So maybe one day I will have sex on the beach.
Okay.
But I have not had it yet.
No. Okay. Interesting. It can be a lot of fun. I must say, wow, I'm like, I have had it once in Mykonos, because Mykonos is like Greece, like paradise. Yeah, and I may have told this story on my other podcast before, but they've got this church area, which is really an interesting dichotomy. They've got like a gay bar, Jackie O's, or they did, I don't think they're open this summer. And the bar is kind of indoor, outdoor, right by the water. And everybody from the bar, or a lot of people from the bar, walk outside of the bar and go up to this little chapel. And not that they go inside the chapel because it's late at night, but it's dark, and I think that's why. And have like hookups in and around, around the church. And then if you descend down the cliff, and so it's a little dangerous too. People kind of have sex there. And I one time, early morning, met a guy and had sex there. which was interesting because the sun was already coming up and there was like a boat speeding by, and I was like, oh my God, can they see me? And I don't think anybody but yeah, it was a whole thing.
You just looked like you were giving him the Heimlich maneuver. That's all.
There you go. He was giving it to me. Yeah, exactly.
Mouth to mouth resuscitation, or mouth to whatever you were.
Okay, Kodi. So, have you ever had sex on a plane or at an airport?
Yeah. No. Oh, yes. Okay.
Really?
Because when you said plane, it was no. But when you said airport, I used to work at the airport.
You did? I didn't know that. Little bits of information about Kodi that you learn on the show. Wow. Yeah. What did you do at the airport?
Well, there was one time where there was this really hot guy, and I just couldn't resist myself. So we went into the bathroom. There's private bathrooms, and I'm not going to say which airport it is. But
let's not totally get you in trouble.
And we went into the private bathroom and had a little fun in the bathroom, and it was just really embarrassing when we had to come out together. So,
was anybody there to see you?
Interesting. Oh, the terminal was packed. So, I mean, I'm sure they knew something was going on, but I didn't care, and he didn't care, and yeah. Good time.
And were you on the clock? Were you working? Or like on a break?
I was working. Yep.
You're my second co-host that's had sex during a break. Jeremy Ross Lopez on TAGSPodcast tells a fun story of when he worked at a boutique here in New York City. And his boss at the time was pretty cool and let him go on like this little break and let him even use, his boss had an apartment like across the street. So he was even able to use the apartment and have fun. And unfortunately, the story goes that the guy kept saying, "Are you ready? Are you ready?" Like for me to come. And Jeremy's like, "Yeah, just go on with it already." And little did he know that he was building and building up, and it was like gushing buckets. He calls it buckets of cum. The story.
Wow.
And it went everywhere in his boss's apartment. And
oh my God.
So then he understood what the warning was all about. And he had to, as much fun as he may have had with this guy having sex, he had to then clean up for an equal or greater amount of time all this buckets of cum. So that his boss, I know, and still get back to work and work the rest of the day. So, but it makes for a great story. And I have not had sex in an airport or airplane. So
no, you got to join the Mile High Club. That's actually on my bucket list.
I mean, the airplane, I don't know. I mean, I'm so silly at the airport. I get into my little zone. I wear all black to the airport. I'm usually running late, so I'm very focused about, really concentrating on my path. This is before when we could travel. And
now the middle seat's blocked off. So.
Yeah, and believe me, I've given some examples of where I've had sex, but for some reason at the airplane, I'm more excited about what am I going to eat, and again, pre-COVID, and what movies am I going to watch, and moisturize. I don't know. I'm silly that way, so I haven't yet. I haven't even turned on any of the apps or anything like that. But kudos to you. I mean, I love that.
I can't wait for a handy under the blanket. I'm
oh, well, there you go. Yeah. Actually, yeah, that could be kind of, I agree.
Yeah.
All right, so Kodi, have you ever had sex in front of others, for people to watch you? It could be an orgy. It could just be you were. I mean, you can tell me. I don't know.
I'm trying to think about what story I want to tell.
Yeah, right. Don't think too hard, Missy.
So one time.
This one time.
Pick whatever what first came to my mind. One time when I was in Paris, I met this guy. Yeah. and we met in a bar, and across the street was like a very shallow like alley. It wasn't even, I don't even know if it qualifies as an alley. But like,
oh, I love one of those Parisian alleyways that are lit, beautifully lit. Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about.
So yeah, we went out right outside and did our thing in the alley, and people were just walking by and watching, and he was really hot. So I didn't even see other people, so it was all good.
Nice. That's hot.
Have you ever had sex in an alley before, or in front of somebody?
Well, I'm going to bring up my one story. You made me think of Paris, and there's this place called Le Depot, but I love saying Le Depot, and it's this really fun bar that has, I don't know, it's like a maze. It's got 4 or 5 different floors. I don't know, it's like a lot. But sometimes they only open like 2 or 3. And part of it is like a dance club. Again, pre-COVID. I'm sure they're not open right now. It's Paris.
Yeah.
Sadness. But they have, in addition to like a couple different dance floors with always incredible music, they've got like mazes around, so it's this really great mix of, and they have bars too, a couple different bars. So it's this really great mix of dancing when you want to dance, going to the main bar, getting a drink. They even have some like bar stools. To then, oh, you know what? Now I kind of want to just roam around, and you can roam around in these mazes that they even have some where there's doors that you can take a person and privately go in. And then there's another area that's strictly maze, but all open area. And I did meet somebody, I've had sex in the closed doors for sure before there. Been there a couple times. And I've been to the open air area and managed to find sex and have sex kind of out in the open where people were sort of watching, and that was fun too. And so, and normally I'm a little like, freaked out with all that, but you know, the dark lighting, and you get into the moment, and I got into it then. So yeah, all these stories sound like relic stories because it's, you just, after our last guest and wearing masks, and it's like, I don't know that some of these things will be happening for a while now, right? I don't know. What do you think?
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
We'll see. Hopefully sooner rather than later. I mean, the longer we're in this, the sooner we are to the end of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well,
so, but what you were saying about Paris before, I think I've been to that place, number one.
Oh, cool. Then you know, yeah. So fun, right?
Yeah.
Well,
good time. When you were describing it, I was like, okay.
It's probably Le Depot, yeah. Well, thanks for playing, Kodi.